Hi, everyone. Welcome again to another 30-minute mini training. We are talking about website messaging that converts. So we are going to teach you what sections to put on your website so that more people will buy from you, because isn't that the whole purpose of a website? So a lot of websites we see out there, they don't have the right stuff. And we're talking especially today about your homepage. That's the first page most people land on. A lot of people don't even get past that page. So what should you have on your homepage that's going to really engage your audience, get them to understand what you do, and make them excited to buy from you? So we're going to show you exactly what you should put on your page, a framework that you can use to revisit your homepage or to build one from scratch. So off we go. Oh, before we get off to our training here, we have a workbook, and I will put the link in the chat where you can sign up and get that email to you after the webinar here. And please feel free, as always, to leave your questions or your comments in the chat. We will be looking at that throughout the presentation, and we'll be answering any questions you have afterwards. So let us get started.
All right, so we're talking about today, like Angela said, specifically what should go on your homepage. A lot of people kind of just start with a blank canvas, and they just don't have anything that they follow, any kind of methodology, any kind of framework. But we are going to provide you today with a framework, one that we use on our clients, one that we have studied. And not only just like a framework of what section should go on your homepage, but how to talk to your prospective client in a way that makes them want to become a client of yours.
Yeah, so a while ago, we talked to you about the design and how powerful that is to get that right on your website. Well, words have power too. And the words that you use are, along with the images, are what are going to connect you to your audience and make them feel like you understand them and that you get what problem it is that they're having and what solution they're looking for. And if you are the right solution, you want to be able to communicate that clearly so that they buy from you. So know who you're speaking to, know your audience, understand them very well, do that background work into understanding their needs and understanding what you offer is a solution for those problems that they have.
And confusion is your worst enemy. So we can't stress this enough. There's so many websites out there that you go there and you have no idea what they sell or if they're the right fit for you. There's people get really clever with their words, but they lose people because it's not obvious like what they sell. So we want to focus on being clear before being clever. So it's okay to do both, but be clear first. So being clear is it always wins the day over being clever. So we can't stress that enough. So we're going to walk you through now the framework that we use for homepages for our clients when we're working with them. So not every website has to have every section. So this is just a framework. It's just a guide. It doesn't have to be perfectly in this order. It doesn't have to have every single section for every client, but it's just something to start with. So hopefully this will give you some guidance as you're working on your website. So the first section, we talked about this in depth in one of our most recent presentations. It's the above the fold section. So it's the top part of your website that you see on your computer or on your phone before you even scroll. And we talk about that section as being where you need to grab their attention really fast. So you only have 5 seconds to grab their attention. So it's important that you communicate clearly, and we'll go into detail about what you need to say there on the next slide.
And another thing you should have somewhere on your homepage is the benefits. What are the benefits of working with you? How do you provide transformation? How do you make their lives easier? How do you make their problems go away? And again, we're going to show you what that could look like in some website examples and in a wireframe that we've done up for you guys to follow.
Another section that you want to include is empathy. So like we talked about earlier, people are coming to your website with a problem that they need to solve. And so you need to understand who those people are and what their problems are. And if you can understand their problem and show empathy, you're going to be able to connect with them at a deeper level rather than just like listing out your services.
Authority. So have you worked with any amazing clients? Put their logos up on your website. Have a section that shows who exactly you've worked with. If it's somebody that's well known, that's going to elevate your authority, as well as any awesome testimonials you have. One mistake we see clients make is just having a testimonials page as a standalone page. Nobody really goes to that page. You're better off sprinkling your best testimonials throughout your website. So have one or two on your homepage, as well as any logos from, high profile clients that you've worked with in the past.
And another section that you could consider putting on your website is a pricing section. So if you have packages, like three different packages, that's a really good way to put it. Even if you don't put the actual dollar amount for each package, and we're going to show you some examples of that later. But just having something where people are like, okay, this is where I fit. There's a lot of service-based businesses that don't like to put pricing on there. They do very custom pricing, or they charge by the hour or whatever it may be. And we're a really big fan of coming up with packages that people can kind of like assign themselves to. They can be like, okay, this is where I fit. It just kind of helps them to understand that more. And some people don't put pricing on there. This is totally optional. It really just depends on your type of business, the way that you price things out, and your comfort level with this.
How do people work with you? Do you have a process? Do you have a plan? Make it easy for them to understand, because sometimes people feel overwhelmed when they come to a website. They maybe like what they see, they like what they hear, but it's an overwhelming step to actually click and buy something, become a customer, become a client of yours. So make it easy for them to understand. This is what you're committing to. Perhaps it's a 3-step plan, a 4 or 5-step plan. Just break it down into logical sections that they can understand, and that they can that they're bite-sized and that they can digest easily, so that they can see themselves working through with you to make it easier for them to buy from you.
Yeah, the goal with this is that you want them to feel like it's easy to work with you. In this day and age, with how easy it is to buy online with an e-commerce website, service-based businesses also need to make it very easy for people to understand what it takes to start working with them. You have to lead them through that process. You can't expect them to lead that process. So the next section is a lead generator, and we talked a lot about this in our presentation a few weeks ago about calls to action. And so the idea behind this is that you have some kind of free, valuable content that you offer. It could be like an ebook or some kind of a cheat sheet or a mini course or whatever it may be. And you offer that in exchange for their email address, so that you can continue to provide value for them. So not everyone is ready to buy at the time that they first come to your website. In fact, 97% of people are not ready to buy right away. So you don't want to lose those leads, especially if you're putting money and work into getting people to your website. You don't want them to forget about you. So that's an opportunity for you to build a relationship with them, continue to provide value to them, so that they can buy from you when and if they're ready.
Now, again, not every section is mandatory on every web page, but if you have a video of, yourself, or introducing the process, or just taking a tour around how you do things, include that on your website. It's a good way to connect with people on a more personal level. So if you have a video like that, or if you're thinking of making a video, that's a great way to boost your conversions as well.
All right, so now we are going to look at a the words escaping me, Angela, help me.
Example, a wireframe example.
A wireframe, thank you. I always want to say sitemap, but it's wireframe. So this is a wireframe that Angela and I put together to show you how each example or each section could be laid out on a website. And this doesn't mean that you have to follow this exactly. It doesn't mean that it has to be in this exact order. But this just kind of gives you an idea of like how do you get all of those bullet points that we had in the slide before onto a website. So this is the top half. We'll look at the second half on the next slide. But you can see that we have the above the fold section, which is where you want to get their attention. And the most important thing that you need to talk about here is, what do you sell, who is it for, and how do they get it? So you want to be very clear about those things. We talk about this a lot, and the reason why we talk about it a lot is because a lot of people get this wrong. And if you confuse, people are going to leave your website. They're not, if you don't get this section of your website right, they're not going to want to keep reading. So it's really important that you spend a lot of time thinking through the messaging, working with someone like Angela and I to get this right, working with a copywriter to make sure that you get this right. So this is very important.
Because most of the website visitors that you're going to lose, you're actually going to lose them right at this point, before they even scroll. So this one is very important to get right. The next section that we are suggesting, again, you can move the order of these around as you see fit, but it's the benefits section. So if you have 3 groups, potentially, something short and simple with a nice headline that draws the eye in, that draws them to the benefit of working with you. It's a good way to just quickly break down, well, what are you going to get? What's the transformation that we're hoping to achieve here by working together? Separate them out and write maybe 1 or 2 sentences. Nothing long, no huge discourse here, just a couple of brief sentences as to the benefits of working with you.
It's a really good point, because I think a lot of times people want to make the mistake of being very wordy. They feel like they need to write a lot. And the problem is, people don't read websites in depth. They really scan them first and figure out, like with the headlines, if they're at the right place, and then they go back and read a little bit more in depth. But you don't want, they're not sitting down to read the newspaper. They're looking for quick answers. So you want to make it very quick and easy. The next section down is the authority section. So here's an example of like how a testimonial could look and some logos that you could provide.
Oh, and then sorry, I thought you were going to talk about the empathy section as well. The empathy section. So maybe you use another image of what it's like to work with you, or the transformation that some of your clients experience while working with you. And then again, just really quick bullet points, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. Nothing long here. People like bite-sized information. Try and say what you have to say in a really concise way so that it's easy for people to digest and scan and just get the gist of what it's like to work with you. If they want to learn more, they can go to the other pages on your website. Your homepage is really about just capturing their attention, holding it, and helping them go through the rest of the sales funnel process with you.
Mm-hmm. And we'll show you some examples, because people probably haven't really heard of an empathy section before.
No.
So we're going to show some examples that it'll make sense here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So like we talked about earlier, if you have a video, about what it's like to work with your company, about your process, about how you solve your clients' problems. That's a good place to put that.
And pricing, yeah, we like to, if we can do this for clients, and if they feel comfortable with showing their pricing, it's always good for a couple of reasons. It helps people self-select, so it kind of helps you judge whether you're going to be a good client for that person, and if it's within your budget and your price range, you kind of avoid those tire kicker situations. So even putting a range or a starting at price is a good way to qualify people, I guess. And we like to start with the highest price first, going down to the lowest. It's a technique called price anchoring. It's just a psychological technique that helps you, whatever numbers come after that, it seems, I don't know, how do we explain price anchoring? It seems more reasonable, right? When you're anchoring high first.
Yep.
If
they hear the higher dollar amount first, then they feel like the next step down is more affordable. They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
which is a good way to filter people to your middle package, which is usually the most popular package in most cases in business situations. I know ours is typically. So that's a good way to work that. Just a little psychology trick for you.
And then the how to work with us section. So it's very simple, like we talked about earlier. Make it easy for people to work with you and guide them through that process. Don't make them have to figure out, like, people are not going to, come banging down your door. They have to feel like it's easy to work with you. So if you have a step 1, step 2, step 3, and I was actually showing this to a client earlier today, and he's like, well, we don't want anyone to buy on our website. And I was like, oh, of course not. Maybe that call to action is a little misleading. But in most service-based businesses, they tend to start with, like, schedule a consultation.
Consult, yeah. Well, that's the same idea. It's just we just abbreviated it for.
I just wanted to address that because I know most of the people that we talk to are service-based businesses. So you just lay out, like, what steps does it take, and then that call to action,
whatever that first step is.
Step 1.
Yeah, it could be that button. Yeah, totally. And the last thing you're going to want on there, like we talked about earlier, is that lead generator. So what's that freebie you're giving? I tell clients, what's like step 0 to working with you? What could you give them that is a quick win for them, that shows your expertise, that provides them value, and that almost preps them to be a good client for you? So what is that thing that maybe it's a frequently asked question or whatever it is that can help them to understand what it's like to work with you, to get something of value for free, and to create that goodwill and that feeling of reciprocity, like they want to buy from you now because they've received so much from you, that you get remembered for your generosity.
All right, so now we're going to look at some actual examples. So now that you guys have seen, what sections we would recommend, let's look at how some other companies have done this. So we have lots of different types of examples in here. And so we're just going to show you each section one at a time. So we've got 2 examples for each section. So this is a good example of an above the fold section. This is a wedding photographer. And they do a really good job with their messaging. It says your adventure wedding and elopement photographer. It's very specific, very targeted. He even says that he's located in Washington, D.C. So he has a little bit more detail down here. And then his call to action is meet with Rob. He has the call to action up in the header and also down here. His menu is very simple. And the image does a really good job of communicating the same thing that the messaging communicates. So this is a really good example. You know exactly what he does. You know how to start doing business with him. You can feel, what it would be like to do a wedding the way that he does weddings. So this is a great example.
And good pivot, elopement photographer. Lots of that going on
Yeah.
now because of COVID, right? Lots of
Yeah,
elopements going on.
definitely.
Okay, this is an injury
A
lawyer.
law firm.
Oh,
Yeah,
a law
an
firm.
injury lawyer. Yeah.
Injury lawyer. We help make sure it never happens to anyone else. That's a really clear benefit of what they do, how they help you. One critique I would have is, okay, there's a car, it's crunched up. I get it. Maybe you want to be a little more specific. I'm not sure. What do you think, Jennifer? Maybe a subheading to kind of clarify a little bit more.
Yeah, so there is a subheading here. It says catastrophic injury law, but it's really hard to see.
It's hard to see. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
would
that would be,
say-
if you could see that better, it would help.
Okay. Yeah, I would say make that white or make the background darker a bit.
Mhm. This is actually a video that runs, which is really cool looking. This is just a screenshot that I took. I would say also the messaging, we help make sure it never happens to anyone else. Like, I don't know how that helps me, as the person who got in the car accident. So I think it's a good message, but I don't know that it really addresses the person who's coming to this website. What do you think, Angela?
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
But they've got their call to action up here. They want you to call, or they've got the watch a video. So they've got, kind of a transitional call to action and then a direct call to action up here. All right, so the next section down is the benefits. So this is an example from an accounting firm. So you can see that they put this into 3 different columns. You can see by the headers, they're nice and big and clear. A reliable team to support you, a process that works for your business, and technology that makes everything easier. It's just very clear what the main benefits are that they provide to their clients. So I think this is a really good example. And if you want to read more about those details, it's in smaller text.
I like the hierarchy. Like, I like that there's a visual image for people that are visual. And then there's the bold headline with a little bit more, like a sub-headline. So you can kind of pick and choose what you want to read if you want more information, or if you just kind of get it at first glance, that's enough for you. They've really laid out the hierarchy really well too. And this is just another way you can write the benefits, right? So you can use pictures, collaborate. Again, has a sub. You don't have to use the subheading. You could just have a title and the paragraph text. Maybe it's a little long on these ones. I would maybe try and trim it down to half. I don't know if people would read all that. Maybe not. But I would try to keep it a little more brief. Just a different layout for you to have a look at.
All right, so here's a good example of empathy. So the empathy section we were talking about earlier. This company, so they provide professional chefs that go into your home and prepare meals for you at home. So one day I would love to have that. But
Yep.
So on the website, sound familiar? If so, this experience is for you. You're too busy to prepare meals. You'd rather spend time with your family or doing something you love. You want healthy home-cooked meals. Meal delivery services are too expensive. You want to experience something different. So they really understand the problem that people face. I mean, it's not just some like luxury to have a chef come into your home, but you're actually addressing a problem. People are busy. They'd rather be doing other things. So they do a really good job of understanding the problem that their customer is facing.
Yeah, understanding your customer, that's key for any website messaging, any marketing messaging. That's going to always be the key, is to understand them. So moving on to another example, these are contractors, right, Jennifer?
Yeah, this is a residential construction company. They do renovations for like kitchen remodels and stuff like that.
So they understand that can be really stressful. I know I've been in that situation. Lots of renovations at our house all the time. So hiring someone, you don't know who you can trust, right? We understand that that's stressful and causes homeowners to distrust all contractors. So they're empathizing and they're stating how they're solving that. We strive to build trust with you before, during, and after any work we complete. So that's their promise. That's their differentiator, and that's how they show empathy for the homeowner that is stressed out by hiring a contractor.
All right, so the next section we want to show some examples of is the authority section. So this is that wedding photographer that we were looking at earlier, and he has a testimonial here by one of his clients, and also a photo, you know, of the people who wrote the testimonials. I think that's a really great way to, you know, show what it was like for his past clients who worked with him. You know, that really means a lot when someone else has experienced how you work, and then they can, you know, speak to how well your services are.
Yeah, and anytime you have not only a written testimonial, but you're adding a photo with it, it just adds another level of authority. And even better, you can combine this with the video section, have video testimonials. That adds even another level. Like you're just leveling up each time when you're adding photos or videos of your clients talking about their experience, because anybody can write a fake testimonial, right? But if it's a video of someone saying what it was like to work with you and how wonderful it was and all that, and giving their praises, that's a lot harder to fake, and people trust those a lot more. Hopefully, maybe in the future that won't be the case. Maybe we'll have like holograms that we can do that with in Photoshop or something. I don't know. But for the moment, they're more credible than just the written testimonial. So that's something to consider. You can combine this section with the video section as well. And this is just another way to do this. So he's got a testimonial here and also some logos of some probably well-known companies in this sector. Just a few. You don't want to overdo it, right? You're just sprinkling maybe 5 or 6 logos of, you know, your top clients. Anyone you want to attract more of, display that on your website first and foremost.
All right, so this is just a screenshot of a video that was on a software company's website. She's actually like, you know, up there using the software, and there's some music to it and words, and so it's a really good way of showing people, you know, what the software looks like and how easy it is to use.
I'll let you talk about the next one too.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch the video. I just
okay.
But this is from an insurance company, and you know, it's just a little about video about them. So
it's nice to see their faces,
video.
right?
Yeah.
It feels familiar and like you're getting to know
Yeah.
them a bit better. Yeah.
It humanizes
Yeah.
people. You know, people like to do business with people, people that they can relate to, they can connect with, that they feel like they can trust. And so anytime you have video where you can show your face and help people get to know you a little bit, that's a really good way to help bring in new business and attract the right people.
Mm-hmm. And this
So-
one is from
go
a
ahead.
contractor.
Yeah.
Contractor website. So to me, it seems really easy to get started, especially on something that can feel so overwhelming as a renovation in my house. So step 1 is to schedule an estimate. That's a bigger block of text on the left, and then there's a bit more information if you want to read that. Step 2 is providing a quote and a timeline. And step 3 is get the work done on time and on budget. And I love how they add that benefit in there, just reinforcing what they were saying before in that example, in that benefits or empathy example before. And then there's that clear call to action there, schedule an estimate. So that's usually your step 1 is usually your button that you want people to take action on.
This is that company that provides in-home chefs, and this is their 3-step process. choose a plan, customize your meal, sit back and relax. So it's super easy to get started. And like Angela just said, the call to action button is from their step one. So it's very clear and makes it feel like they're easy to work with, but it's easy to hire. So you know what to do when you're ready to hire them.
Know what to expect. This is an example of pricing and packages. So they have all 3 packages that they offer here. They clearly state what you get in each package and what you don't get. And then the price as well at the top and some optional add-on pricing at the bottom. So you can clearly see, well, where do I fall? Like, I understand that, okay, maybe I'm a growth client, right? So that's going to cost me such and such a month, and I see exactly what I get. It helps if you have a lot of sales calls or a lot of inquiries about what do I get and what does this package include. If you can clearly, get your website to do that work for you instead of answering so many emails or inquiries, phone calls, that's a great way to do it.
Like custom written proposals.
Yeah, or custom quotes.
Very time consuming. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The only thing I would change about this one is I'd maybe put the growth one first and trickle it down, waterfall it down to the lowest price on the right.
And then this is another accounting, or this is a bookkeeping services company. But the reason why I wanted to put this one in here is because I wanted to show you they have packages, but there's no pricing listed on here. And so that's another way to do it, to at least give people like an idea of what package they might fit into, because people want to know how much things cost. So if you can give them some kind of idea of, what you offer, and like that you have a process that you follow, that, I don't know, it just makes people feel like you're easy to work with if they have something tangible that they can look at that you sell. So you don't have to put pricing on there.
It just productizes your services so people can just quickly, like when you're at the grocery store, you're just and scanning for cereal, right? You just want to be like, hey, I picked this one, right? And you stick it in your cart. That's what people are used to with like Amazon and things like that. So you're productizing your services so that it makes it easy for people to just kind of pick a package off a shelf type of thing. All right, I'm going to let you talk about these two because I haven't looked at these 2 slides, Jennifer.
Okay, so these are examples of lead generators. So we talked about this earlier. It's providing some kind of free, valuable content so you don't lose leads when people come to your website. 97% of people are not ready to buy. So this is an opportunity for them to get some kind of value for them. They'll provide their email address, you provide the free value, and then you can stay in touch and build that relationship so that when they are ready to buy it, they remember you. So this is an example from a lady who is a life transition coach. And she has this little worksheet. It says, download your worksheet to discover where you are in your journey. So that's a really good example, and gives her the opportunity to stay in touch with anybody who is interested. And then this is from a website I found. I actually don't know what they sell, which is interesting because most websites are selling something, right? A product or a service. Their website is all about this guide and about their podcast, and it's all about habits. So they've got this free guide and workbook that you can download here. And I think that's the last.
That's all the examples. Yeah, that's all I hope that helped. And if you have any questions that maybe you want us to help you audit your homepage of your website and help you come up with a layout like this that is going to help you convert more people into customers that are on your website, we offer this 90-minute brainstorm whiteboarding session. We get together on a Zoom call, you, myself, and Jennifer, and we brainstorm any topic really you need help on. Whatever your biggest challenge is, bring it to us. We'll help you with it. We'll crunch away on it and help you discover some big picture insights that you can walk away with and implement. So if you are interested in that, this is our special offer for our mini training viewers. You can go to coalitionwebdesign.com/brandstorm, and you can sign up right there. There's a calendar link for you, and we are happy to hop on a call and help you with anything branding or marketing that you need help with.
And for our upcoming webinars, we're here every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Mountain time. And that highlighted one, we might be changing the topic on that one, so we will keep you updated on that. But next week we are doing on-air coaching, so we're going to have a business owner join us online, and we're going to review something that they would like some help with. So if you want to listen in on that and get some tips by seeing how we help someone with their project. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.